I deserve somebody an apology. I deserve Stalker-kun an apology. The first scene in Tu Bian X episode 14, it just opens up straight to this poor guy trying to like triangulate some sort of incident. Like this guy who, yes, seems to be obviously Ghost Rider? Ghostblade. This guy, the Stalker-kun, is actually probably Ghostblade, and he was trying to triangulate something going on. He was probably trying to warn No, and he just couldn't get up the courage to talk to her, and she called him a creep, and then here he comes in at the very end to save the day. I feel so bad. I was like, he's totally going to disco dude. The stalker guy is totally going to be Shindig, and he's there and he's angry because, I don't know, No declined him a date or something like that. But nope, it's probably Ghostblade. I think when they got to the point where they were trying to call up Ghostblade, I was like, yeah, it's going to be the stalker. Because they can't get through to him. He's probably trying to call No. And then the moment that he walks in that building and he walks by No, I'm like, oh, okay. I feel bad now. I feel bad. Ghostblade, apparently, even though he's like top 5, he literally has some sort of social anxiety. Probably when he doesn't have his mask on. Or it could just be strictly No. He just gets very, very nervous around. We'll see. But anyways, episode 14. Okay episode. I feel like a lot of the juicy bits of this episode was definitely around the conversation with the commission, because we're getting into, again, the fear and the trust values. But more importantly, the later conversation, which, yeah, what they've been pretty much breadcrumbing for a while now, is that Loli has this top secret material that nobody's ever seen before that apparently is from an alien spaceship. So confirmation now we have aliens in the existence in To Be Hero X world. But a lot of ramifications, which we'll get into in a minute when we get into it. But I think overall, like visually, I was a little bit disappointed in this episode. All the way up until the point where Loli goes up against the beefed up version of Shindig. When he finally buffs himself up. Everything before then felt very lacking in animation. I was starting to get kind of concerned about possibly them, I don't know, having a dip in quality for this series. But again, it kicked up once Shindig went crazy. But I'm going to first start off with the whole commission segment beforehand, before they kind of transition to going to help out the lab, which, yes, opens up with Rock going to this whole meeting with the commission, and he's walking towards there. Eventually, he bumps into Zack. Zack's talking about how FOMO has pretty much kicked out Shindig. And it's sort of a conversation between two individuals that used to work for, well, Rock used to work for FOMO, and he left FOMO. And so there's this element where Zack's kind of taking jabs at him, talking about how he left the facility, went off to do his own company. You know, is he getting to his goals yet or whatever? But there is also sort of a conflict here in how they handle heroes. And there is kind of a warning here that ends up eventually actually happening in the episode, is the idea that, yes, he says, yeah, just like you said, whenever you get to a point where you don't need these people anymore, get rid of them. And Shindig, yeah, he climbed the top quick list. He apparently broke records going to number 1, going to X, because he was like the first test bed of FOMO. And he rise to X faster than anybody else. It's a record that yet has been broken. And yeah, once that was all done, once he started losing some sort of popularity, phase 1 was over, get rid of him. But from Rock's perspective, he's kind of concerned, going, no, you got to keep these heroes on a leash. If you bring them in, you got to, keep them on a short leash, control them. It gives a little bit of a warning there to, I think, a lot of these organizations and how they run their people. Yeah, as much as I don't like Mickey and how it seems like he's very controlling of, Lucky and Queen and Boa, yeah, these individuals are technically playing with fire here. They're basically promoting and building up somebody to be extremely powerful. And if they don't have control over them, they'll eventually get taken over. And I think even though it's very manipulative and it's very disgusting, that sort of is what Rock did with Yang. He wanted somebody that he can control. And so he dethroned Isul, and he made a new Isul that would listen to him. Because who is Rock to Yang? It's basically father. He's always been a father to Yang. And he manipulated this poor boy and created this whole environment for this boy. He created a shop. He literally had a cafe seemingly created for him to have an alternate identity, to raise Yang from a young child to a young adult, and then turn him into Isul so that he'll always listen to him. On the opposite end, in this conversation, we have Zack over here who's talking about, yeah, we threw him in the social media network that we made, and then we got rid of him. We don't need no more. We got our next project coming up. Who cares? Stark contrast. And yeah, Zack gonna be able to stop Shindig? No. Shindig's going crazy and blowing up a facility. He's apparently working for some underground organization. That's really what I felt from that whole conversation. And I think it is kind of a sign here of Rock sort of seeing that, how new heroes are rising up are much more hard to control. They lack etiquette, as he says. Anyways, going to the whole commission conversation again, they're talking about their findings. It's very, dire, so we got to talk about it. And yeah, that's when Professor Lowe comes out. And we find out why Professor Lowe has not been spending any time with Lily. Apparently, he's been studying both an alien spaceship, but that's beside the point, but also fear. Yes, he's been apparently the person working for the commission to look into the fear that was spreading around the orphanage that Lucky came from, and it's not looking good. But unfortunately, they don't actually talk much about it, other than the fact that it's fear. Because, yeah, they get interrupted, the lab's being attacked, and they have to send Ghostblade, and yada, yada, yada. Which that gets us to the whole lab segment, which we open up with Loli, and she's going in there with Nono, and eventually explosions happen. And Nono's like, it's gotta be the stalker. This girl's so drunk, it's gotta be the stalker. And she goes and locks Loli inside of the storage place so she can confront the guy alone. She's like, no, you taught me how to be strong. You're drunk. No, I'm not. I love it. Yeah. Shindig's blowing up everything, eventually finds the containers that have the fear. And he has literally everybody under his control, and everybody's at his mercy. And then Nono, drunk off her mind, goes storming into the room and is like, you keep harassing me, you keep calling me, leave me alone. He's like, who's this crazy chick? Get her off of me. This guy is literally like a prior ex. He was previously #1 on the charts, and he's getting his butt kicked by drunk Nono. He's like, get this chick off of me. I haven't even used my powers on her, and she's already crazy. It was great. But yeah, eventually he goes to turn on her, and that's when Loli shows up and starts fighting, and all the zombie dudes start attacking her, and she, again, wasn't the most beautifully animated little segment here, but love seeing Loli in action. I love the most about Loli is that as she's fighting, every now and then you get these brief little shots of her face, and it has like either like a mischievous cat face or just an angry cat face every now and then. It's super cute. But yeah, she's just kind of beating everything up until eventually Shindig. Now here's kind of an oddity here, and they confirm this later on, and I was kind of questioning it during the time. Shindig can't take down Loli, even though, again, he's supposedly, doubt that he dropped much. He's looking at his thing, he's like, I haven't dropped that much trust. He's dropping down the charts, but he's not weak. This dude's probably still up there. If not top 10, I think it would be at least 15. He's still strong. But yet Loli, who's not even charting yet, is taking him on. The massive question mark was like, why? He even tries to use his trust powers on her. It's not working. She's like, are you done? Start smacking him around. It's not until he uses his own powers to strengthen his body that finally he's taking her down. But then, yes, she gets her super bat from... Nono calls out the super bat, and she hits him with the super bat. But yes, confirmed at the end of the episode, it's all because she's been using this secret material that, oh yeah, that material that, Nono didn't know what the heck it was, and Loli's like, yeah, it was just my dad's basement. That's apparently all material that was pulled from an alien spaceship. So that would explain why, yeah, none of it's affecting her. Both trust and fear is not affecting Loli's armor. So this will probably turn it into being what sort of is unique about Loli herself. I'm kind of surprised that it would be shocking if following this, Lou doesn't immediately go, no, we gotta take that stuff back. We don't even know what it could do. It would be shocking if Loli still has his armor afterwards. I think for the sake of Loli's character, it's probably going to turn to a thing where the thing that makes her strong initially is that trust powers don't work on her because she has alien armor. Logical world thinking would be, Lou would say, get out of that thing. We need that back. That's stuff that we have to test more of because we're obviously seeing that it's extremely powerful. But again, for the sake of the anime, it's probably going to stay as her armor because it's obviously cool. But yeah, just takes him down, and that's pretty much the end of Shindig. He gets knocked into the fear stuff, and then Ghostblade goes in there, but apparently he's gone before Ghostblade gets in there and goes to some underground location where he runs into some random dude that says that it's not over yet. Which just implies that Shindig was sent there by orders of somebody else, which I'm assuming is probably going to be this secret organization that is later on utilizing the fear against them, that we kind of got into a little bit with Nice. But yeah, that's kind of the assumption there. But yeah, I was kind of mixed on the whole scene with Loli leaving with Nono when everything kind of unfolded. And then she kind of stops the professor and says, hey dad, I'm right here. And he turns around and is like, is that you, Lily? Is that the armor that you've been working on? What the heck are you doing? I brought you here to research, not play hero. Stop playing your childish hero stuff. I want you to be safe, basically. Having to kind of instill upon him, thanks to Nono kind of speaking up. No, she's not trying to be a hero. She's a hero. She saved me twice. Because of her that we all are out here safe. Like, this isn't just a dream to her. It kind of just got more interrupted by the fact that, yes, eventually she's like, oh, is this the stuff you're looking for? And the freaking sphere is just kind of laying on his hand. What the hell, Lily? Why do you have that in your hand? Which, yes, that all leads to him, yes, going to the commission and telling them, yeah, so the whole, attack on the facility, we leaked some fear out there, but everything's good. But a little positive note, we made a discovery during that whole situation. We figured out that this alien metal from this spacecraft that I've been kind of put off to the side, that kind of blocks things. Interesting that he points out specifically that it has the ability to block both fear and trust. Because yes, I, watching, got the hint that she was blocking the trust value. Now, after he said that, there was a thought process I had that maybe possibly whatever is going to be Loli's special ability, being a hero, blocked his ability to control her. But he's just straight up saying, yeah, it's blocking trust too. Which I can see if he notices that she's able to contain the fear in her hand, that maybe possibly, hey, maybe this might have effect on trust too. I don't know. I'm kind of curious how he got that conclusion that it's going to be trust too, unless he just decided to try it after seeing that it worked on fear. But yes, it all leads to both the revelation that this is something that can be used against trust and fear, but additionally, by the way, aliens are here. I guess that could be sort of an answer to why the trust even exists in this world. Is that at some point aliens came to the planet and attacked, and that could be like that whole starting point for the trust value even starting is some sort of alien discovery. But either way, the more important thing here is that the statements they made once he made that statement, it defies the laws of energy of our world, including fear and trust. So the powers from trust could be rendered useless. By using it, we can isolate features of trust and fear and insert them into medication. So from Professor Liu's perspective, he's like, well, we have this whole issue with people being infected by fear. We can make a medication where it helps them. But I think the commission, the lady on the desk, is thinking the same thing I'm thinking. So we can use this to mess up trust. Question mark. It kind of leads to that whole idea of either one, making more armors like what Loli has. They can basically mass produce Loli armors so that they can essentially fight against heroes. Anybody can become a hero, basically. Loli is an example of, an Iron Man. She's basically Iron Man. Somebody that you could just put on a suit of armor, a regular old business schmo. They can put on a suit of armor and take down heroes, take down villains. Anybody can become a hero with that metal. But obviously, the spacecraft's metal is limited. There's no telling if they can even reproduce that metal. But additionally, it can lead to things like making weapons that could essentially kill heroes. The list keeps going on. The list keeps going on. What this can essentially do to harm heroes or to turn the tables on heroes. And again, grant anybody the ability to stand up against heroes. That, I think, is the key thing there. But we'll see. We'll see. I think that's pretty much going to be a wrap-up of Loli's story. I think this is going to be a 2-episode story again. I think we're going to get, similar to Queen, probably a 2-episode story. Unless, after this episode, like I predicted, they can have an episode of Loli going and helping Lucky Cyan and Queen with the massive Pokemon. And it does kind of lead me to kind of wonder if they'll do Ghostblade next. I kind of assumed that they were going to do Johnny's at this point, but they did Loli, and now they're kind of opening up the door to possibly doing Ghostblade, which could get into, again, why he was doing the whole corkboard thing, trying to figure out where, No and Loli was doing, just to figure out probably this whole attack here, but we'll see. But that's my thoughts on episode 14 of Tu Bian Yingxiong X. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support more, become a member of the channel. Until next time, I'll take care.